Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. She didn't want my money. She didn't want the house. She didn't even want the security. She wanted me. And I thought I was doing everything right. If you're a man over 50 and you think being a good provider is enough, this is your warning. Because emotional neglect in marriage doesn't explode, it erodes. And by the time you notice the damage, she's already gone. Most of us were raised with one rule: work hard, pay the bills, protect your family. That's love, right? That's responsibility. That's loyalty. That's being a man. But here's the warning nobody gave us. You can fulfill every financial obligation and still abandon your wife emotionally. You come home tired. You sit down. You turn on the TV. You tell yourself, I earned this. And you did. But while you were earning, she was waiting. Waiting to be heard. Waiting to be seen. Waiting to matter. And every night you chose silence over connection, you were teaching her something dangerous. That she was alone, even when you were sitting right next to her. Here's what messes with men. Emotional neglect in marriage doesn't look like fighting. It doesn't look like screaming. It looks like peace. No drama, no arguments, no complaints. Just distance. You think, well, at least we're not arguing. But what you don't realize is she stopped fighting because she stopped hoping. She stopped bringing things up because nothing changed. She stopped asking for attention because rejection hurts more than silence. So she adapts. And adaptation looks calm right before it becomes exit. Men don't get blindsided by divorce. We miss the slow goodbye. Nobody likes to talk about this part, but attraction doesn't survive on safety alone. Because it needs presence, it needs curiosity, it needs effort. And when you stop seeing her as a woman and only see her as part of your routine, desire fades. You stop flirting, you stop touching, you stop asking how she's really doing. You start treating intimacy like a chore instead of a connection. And then one day you're shocked when the bedroom goes quiet. But it didn't go quiet overnight. It went quiet when emotional closeness left the building. This is where the provider role really tricks us. We think if she's not complaining, she must be okay. Silence in marriage is not peace. It's usually resignation. It's her telling herself, nothing I say will change him. So she stops saying anything. Meanwhile, you're thinking things are stable, but what's actually happening is she's emotionally detaching. And emotional detachment is the beginning of the end. Not anger, not yelling, indifference. When a woman stops caring if you notice her, that's when you should be scared. A lot of men think betrayal only counts if there's another woman. But emotional neglect feels like betrayal too. Not because you were unfaithful, but because you were unavailable. You chose work. You chose comfort. You chose not to engage. And she felt that choice every single day. She didn't want a bigger house. She wanted conversation. She didn't want another vacation. She wanted affection. She didn't want more money. She wanted to feel wanted. And when that doesn't happen for long enough, she starts imagining life without you. Not out of anger, out of survival. Here's the part nobody warns men about. The regret doesn't hit when she's unhappy. It hits when she's done. When she stops asking for change, when she starts making plans without you, when she finally says, I can't do this anymore. That's when it hits. And by then, you're not fixing a marriage, you're mourning one. Men feel loss deeper when it comes with realization. Realization that we misunderstood what love required. Not protection, not provision, presence. If you are still married,
This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because emotional neglect in marriage doesn't announce itself. It waits quietly. It waits until you think everything is stable, and then it takes everything you assumed was permanent. And if you're already divorced, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's about understanding what really happened so you don't repeat it with someone new. Because the provider role doesn't expire with age. Neither does emotional absence. A lot of men don't lose their marriages because they were bad men. They lose them because they were disconnected men who thought doing their duty was the same as doing the work. If this hit close to home, you're not weak. You're finally being honest. And that honesty is where change actually starts. This channel exists because too many men reach this stage of life with questions nobody prepared them for. If you don't want to face the next chapter blind, subscribe to Aged and Confused. We talk about the things men were never taught to talk about. And if you know another man who needs to hear this, send this to him. Quiet warnings save loud regrets. Take care of yourselves, gentlemen.